We'll start with what we have covered in the last lecture. Okay. So in the last lecture, we have covered the top very important topic, that is OSD, overtaking side distance. Okay. In that we have calculated how to calculate the OSD, how the distances of the OSD are calculated, that is D1, D2, D3. Okay, by this picture, we will easily understand what is meant by overtaking side distance. How much minimum overtaking side distance that we require. How much eyesight of the driver is required. It should be 1.2 meter above the ground level or the surface of the road, and the height of the object as well, it should be above the surface or road surface of 1.2. Okay, the height of the object also 1.2 meter above the surface of road. Okay, that we have covered. We also saw the problem. So formula for D1, D2, D3, how to calculate the total overtaking side distance, how the overtaking side distance is uh, taken. We have seen by the time space diagram as well. Here we have shown the different vehicles by the different color so that we can easily understand the in how much time, how much distance will be covered by the particular vehicle. For vehicle A as well as vehicle B as well as for vehicle C. How much distances that vehicle can cover in that particular stipulated time. That we have clearly seen by using this diagram called time space diagram. Then we have calculated OSD as D1 plus D2 plus D3. We have calculated all the formulas and we have finally arrived at the formula OSD is equal to VB into T plus 2S plus VB into under root of 4S divided by A plus V into T. Okay, that formula we have derived finally. But in that formula, in this formula, please keep in mind, VB is the velocity of the slow moving vehicle. Okay, VB is the velocity of slow moving vehicle and V is the velocity of a fast moving vehicle. That you should have to point it out. Okay, and suppose if the velocity of the fast moving vehicle is given and the velocity of the slow moving vehicle is not given, then it is assumed that the velocity of the slow moving vehicle is 16 kilometer per hour less than the fast moving vehicle. Okay, but it is assumed that the slow moving velocity is equal to fast moving velocity minus 16 kmph. Means what? The slow moving vehicle is taken as a 16 kmph less velocity than the fast moving vehicle if the velocities are given in kilometer per hour. And if the velocities are given in meter per second, how much? 4.5 meter per second. Okay, how much we will take as 4.5 meter per second less than the fast moving vehicle if the velocities are given in meter per second. Okay, if the velocity is given in meter per second, then the velocity of slow moving vehicle will always take it as less 4.5 meter per second less than the fast moving vehicle. These are the very important points, so that's why I am repeating very number of times. These are very important points. How much uh, velocity that we have to uh, minus if we have to calculate the slow moving. This is the condition when the slow moving velocity, the speed of the slow moving velocity is not given. Suppose the lanes, the road on which we are calculating the overtaking side distance, it is one way only. At that time, there will not be vehicle C. So the total OSD will be equal to D1 plus D2 only. D3 will not be there because it is only one way traffic. Okay, that also we have to keep in mind. We have written yesterday that part in note. Then we have to provide the overtaking side distance zone. Okay, and whenever we are providing the overtaking zone, minimum 3 times OSD that is to be achieved. Okay, this is very important point. Whenever we are designing the overtaking zone, minimum 3 times of the OSD that we have to keep. Okay, and this is for minimum criteria, and for desirable length of the overtaking zone is 5 times OSD. Okay, minimum we have to go for 3 times, and desirable is 5 times the overtaking side distance. Okay, that we have to keep in mind. Minimum we should go for 3 times OSD, and if possible desirable go for the 5 times of the overtaking side distance. Then we calculate the SSD, ISD as a 2 into SSD, that is formula we have taken. Then whenever we are designing the intersection, we have to keep in mind the side distances that requires to stop the vehicle if we saw the another vehicle coming from the another section of the road. Okay, then we have seen the horizontal alignment. We are just started the horizontal alignment. In that horizontal alignment, it is very important parameter is the centrifugal force. Okay, that we have to minimize, because due to the centrifugal force our vehicle has the tendency to go for overturning. Okay, so that we are designing the horizontal curve such that our vehicle should not get overturned or should not get skid in the outward direction. Okay, that two conditions that we have to satisfy whenever we have to design the horizontal curve. Okay, these are the two important conditions that we have to think or we have to keep in mind whenever we are designing the horizontal curve. First one is the vehicle should not get overturned, and second one is the our vehicle should not get skid outward direction. Okay, that two condition we have to maintain whenever we are designing the horizontal curves. Okay, now for this purpose centrifugal force is very important, and in the last lecture we have seen centrifugal force, how it is calculated. So this is the typical diagram of the vehicle which is passing through the horizontal curves. Centrifugal force P always acts in the outward direction, radially outward we can say. And the weight of the vehicle W will always act in the downward direction. Okay, the W weight will always act downward direction, and this P and W are assumed to connect at the point of CG of the body. Okay, it is assumed to be form a center of gravity which is at height h. Okay, what we have assumed, the CG height from the surface of the road is h and the wheelbase is b. That are two important notifications that we have seen. Okay, what is h? This height of CG I will show here. Please see, from the CG to road surface. Okay, from CG to road surface, the height is taken as small h, and from wheel 1 or point A or wheel A to wheel B, this distance is taken as wheelbase as small b. These two are very important words: wheelbase small b and height of CG small h, because the formula of overtaking as well as for overturning as well as for skidding, this depends on the h and b. Then we have derived the formula for factor of safety against the overturning and factor of safety against the skid of the vehicle. Okay, up to the last lecture. The formula for centrifugal force is W square upon GR. This is very important, the formula for centrifugal force. Then what we have done, we have taken this W into the left side, so it will become as P by W is equal to V square by. How it becomes? P by W is equal to V square by GR. So what is V square by GR? This ratio is called as centrifugal ratio. This is very important. This ratio is called as centrifugal ratio, or it is also called as impact factor. This is called as centrifugal ratio, as well as it is also called as impact factor. Then up to the last lecture we have completed up to this portion. The centrifugal force has two effects. The one is tendency to overturn the vehicle about the outer wheel and tendency for transverse. Okay, what is the first one? Tendency of the vehicle to get overturned, and the second one is tendency of the vehicle to get transverse skidding. So these are the two conditions, and we have to derive the formula for factor of safety against these two conditions. Okay, factor of safety, we have to go for the decide the factor of safety against these two conditions. Okay, then for the first, that is for overturning, we'll take the moment of the forces with respect to the outer wheel of the road. Then by that we get the formula as P into H is equal to W into P by 2. So if we take the W into the left side, we will get the formula as, it is very important formula. If you have not written, please write down this formula. P by W is equal to B by 2H. Okay, very important formula. P by W is equal to B by 2H. Then we know the P by W is nothing but is equal to V square upon GR. P by W is nothing but V square upon GR. So it will become as V square upon 2G is equal to B by 2H. Okay. P by W is equal to V square upon GR is equal to B by 2H. We will get this final formula. And now for the safety factor, the following condition must be satisfied by the vehicle. What is the condition? B by 2H is should be greater than V square upon GR. Then and then only we can say our vehicle is safe against the overturning. Okay. When we can say our vehicle is safe against the overturning, when B by 2H, this ratio should be greater than V square upon GR. Okay. Then we can say our vehicle is safe against the overturning. If you have not written this formula, please write down. If you have not written in this last lecture, please write down this formula. This is very important equation for the safety against the overturning. Very important equation for safety against the overturning. If you have not written, please write down this formula. Very important formula. These two conditions might be asked for exam. The factor of safety condition for overturning as well as for the transverse. Okay, these two are very important formulae for the vehicle. The safety factor against the overturning, that vehicle should satisfy the condition B by 2A should be greater than V square upon GR. Then we can say the vehicle will not go for overturn. Okay, the vehicle will not overturn. Then this is first part. Okay, what is the second part or the second tendency of the vehicle? To go for transverse skidding. Okay, the second condition is to go for transverse skidding. That is when the centrifugal force P is greater than the maximum possible transverse skid resistance due to the friction between the pavement surface and tire. The transverse skid force F is equal to FA plus FB. Okay, when this condition occurs, when the centrifugal force which is acting outward direction, okay, the centrifugal force is always act radially outward direction, and if suppose whatever the coefficient of resistance is there between the tire and the pavement surface, okay, between the tire and pavement surface there will be a friction between the all tires. Okay, if this frictional force is less as compared to the centrifugal force, then what happens? The vehicle gets skid. Okay. When the vehicle gets skid, when the centrifugal force acting radially outward direction will be greater than the frictional force offered by the wheels and the pavement. Okay. If this force is frictional force will be less and the centrifugal force will be more, then what happen? There will be the lateral or the transverse skidding of the vehicle. Then how we calculate the transverse skid resistance? F is equal to Fa plus Fb, frictional resistance by tire A and tire B. Then it is equal to F into W, frictional force F into total weight of the vehicle. Then this is counteracted by the centrifugal force. Okay. So P is equal to F by F into W. So if we take the W in the left side, what will happen? If the formula will become as P by W is equal to F. Now, what is meant by P by W? It is the centrifugal ratio. Okay. What is meant by P by W? It is centrifugal ratio, or also called as impact factor. This is a very important factor, P by W. So this is the equation. P by W is equal to F. Okay, this is at the equilibrium condition. But if we have to go for the factor of safety, then we have to get the equation as F should be greater than V square upon G. Okay, we have to satisfy the condition as F should be greater than V square upon 2G. P by W is nothing but V square upon G. Okay, centrifugal ratio P by W is nothing but V square upon GR. So P by W is equal to V square upon GR is equal to F. Okay, and F is finally should be greater. This is the equilibrium condition. Okay, at this condition, it is at the stage of failure. If F will be less than V square upon GR, then our vehicle get fail or it will get skid. If this F, that is the frictional factor, is greater than V square upon GR, that is centrifugal ratio, then we can say that our vehicle is safe against the lateral skidding. Our vehicle is safe against the lateral or transverse skidding. Okay, so this is very important formula. Write down this formula. F should be greater than V square upon GR. Write down these all three formulae. Write down this all three formula. Everyone must write down this formula. This is very important formula. Okay, completed. We will move forward now. Our next part is the analysis of superelevation. Okay, this is very important. Okay, whenever we are designing the horizontal curve, the design of the superelevation, it is very important part. Okay, whenever we are designing the horizontal curve, designing the superelevation, this is very important point. Okay, what is meant by superelevation? We know this, the superelevation or the cant, or it is also called as banking, is the transverse slope provided at the horizontal curve to counter to counteract the centrifugal force by raising the outer edge of the pavement with respect to the inner edge through the length of the horizontal curve. Okay, throughout the length of horizontal curve. Okay. So what is meant by super elevation? Simply, it is nothing but we have to provide the one edge of the horizontal curve is at the higher elevation than the other edge. Okay, an outer edge will be at the higher elevation than the inner edge. This rise in the level is called as super elevation or cant or banking. Okay, so these three are the different names. Super elevation is also called as cant, or it is also called as banking. Okay, so what is meant by superelevation? It is the slope provided at the horizontal curve contract the centrifugal force. This is very important word. Why the superelevation is provided? To counteract the centrifugal force. This is a very important point. Why the superelevation is provided? To counteract the centrifugal force. Once this MCQ is asked for MCQ, the MPSC, why the superelevation is provided. Okay, the objective behind the providing the superelevation. So the superelevation is provided to counteract the centrifugal force. And how it is provided? By raising the outer edge of the pavement with respect to the inner edge throughout the length of horizontal curve. Simply we have to raise the outer side of the or outer edge of the road with respect to the inner edge of the road. Okay. When the outer edge is raised, a component of the curve weight will be complemented in the contracting the effect of the centrifugal force. Okay, whatever be the component of the weight will be there, that weight component will contract the centrifugal force acting on the vehicle. How? We'll see. We have derived the equation for that also. In order to find out the how much the rising should be there, the following analysis may be done. But the analysis they have made to find out how much superelevation should be provided to counteract the centrifugal force, you will see now. Okay, so see here, this is the typical diagram for calculating or for analyzing the superelevation. The forces acting on the vehicle while taking the horizontal curves with the superelevation are shown in the figure. Okay, so these are the forces acting on the vehicle. W is the weight of the vehicle is always acts downward direction. Okay, whatever will be the position of the vehicle, W is the weight of the vehicle that will always act in the downward direction, and the P is the centrifugal force that will always act in the radially outward direction. Okay, so if the vehicle is in the tilting position, then W, the weight component, will give the two components in X and Y direction, and as well as the P, that is centrifugal force, also gives the two components. One is the P cos theta and another one is the P sin theta. The component of the centrifugal force P in the X direction is P cos theta, and the component of the centrifugal force P in the Y direction, it is equal to P sin theta. Okay, so these are the components of the centrifugal force that will be due to the tilting position of this vehicle. Okay, and as well as the weight W will always act in the radially downward direction, but here the vehicle is in the tilting position, so the weight W also gives two components of its, one in the X direction and other one is the Y direction. The Y direction component is W cos theta and the X direction component is W sin theta. Okay, so these are the two components of the weight. Okay, everyone draw this figure. This is an important figure to derive the formula for superelevation. Okay, we have to derive the formula for superelevation. This is an important figure for that. Everyone, please draw this figure. I will explain how it is calculated, how to go for calculate the superelevation. Draw the figure. It's a very important figure. Draw this figure. It is very important to calculate the, to analyze the superelevation, to derive the formula for superelevation. Without figure, you will not understand how the formula is derived. Completed. Okay. So see here now, I will tell how the formula is derived. So see here. So this is the diagram for the analyzing the superelevation or the calculating the superelevation. The superelevation is provided by angle theta. The outer edge of the road is raised as compared to the inner edge. Okay. The outer edge of the road is raised as compared to the inner edge. This term is known as superelevation. Okay. Because of this, what will happen? Our vehicle will get tilted by some angle theta. Okay. Because of providing the superelevation, because we have provided the superelevation, our vehicle will get tilted by angle theta. Okay. So due to that, the centrifugal force P is divided into two components, that is P cos theta and P sin theta. One is in the radially outward direction, one is in the downward direction. Okay, P cos theta is radially outward direction, and P sin theta is in the downward direction. Then, as well as the weight component is also divided into two parts. One is the W cos theta, which is in the downward direction, and W sin theta, it is in the left side, that is the radially inward direction. Okay, and the another force component is frictional force. Okay, and another force component is the frictional force. So please see here, the force factors that are acting on the vehicle are three. Here the three factors are acting on the vehicle. The first one is the centrifugal force, second is the weight of the vehicle, and third is the friction. Okay, so these three are the forces that are acting on the vehicle. Now we will see the equilibrium conditions. Okay, generally how much equilibrium condition we take? Whenever we are solving the problem, can anyone tell? in the structural analysis or in the mechanics, you all learn how much the equilibrium condition that we take generally for designing or analyzing any problem. The equilibrium conditions.
3.
3. Good. Generally, we take the 3 equilibrium conditions. One is summation of the
Summation of A
horizontal. Okay, good. One is the summation of force in the x direction we are taking, that is in the horizontal direction. Then summation of we are taking the forces
Y
into the
direction.
y direction, and lastly we are taking the summation of moments. Okay, these 3 equilibrium condition we generally take for calculating the anything that forces etc. Okay, by using these 3 conditions we will find out the forces etc. Now here we are using the second term, that is the summation of Fy is equal to 0. Means for summation of the all forces that are acting on the y direction is equal to 0. So see here, what are the forces that are acting in the y direction? I will tell. Okay. So what are the forces that are acting on the y direction? First, now forget about the P, because the P is divided into 2 parts, P cos theta and P sin theta. Okay. W is divided into 2 components, W sin theta and W cos theta. So forget about P and W. Now the force which is acting in the y direction is P cos theta. Okay. Then the another force which is acting in the y direction is W sin theta. Please see the direction. It is acting in the y direction. Then the frictional force at tire A and the frictional force at tire B. Okay, so these 4 forces are there which are acting in the y direction. Okay, these 4 forces are acting in the y direction, but also we have to think about the direction of that forces. Okay, also we have to think about the direction of these forces. Now see, P cos theta, it is acting outward direction. P cos theta, it is acting in the outward direction. W sin theta, it is acting in the inward direction. W sin theta, it is acting in inward direction. FA is also acting in the inward direction, and F and B is also acting in the inward direction. So one force, that is P cos theta, is acting in the outward direction, and remaining 3 forces are acting in the left, that is the inward direction. So the force P cos theta counteracts the force W sin theta plus force at A tire and frictional force at tire B. Now we will see the equation for that. We will take this as in the equation. By that you will clearly understand. Okay, see here. So P cos theta, it is acting in the right side direction. Okay, that is outward direction, is equal to W sin theta plus FA plus FB. These are acting in the left, that is in the inward direction. Okay, so P cos theta is equal to W sin theta plus FA plus FB. Okay, so P cos theta counteracts the force, that is W sin theta, FA and FB. Now we will take FA, we will find FA. What is FA? Friction force at tire A, that is F into RA, and frictional force at tire B is equal to F into RB. Okay, and what is RA? It is the nothing but the force component of W, that is W cos theta. Okay, W cos theta, force component. And what is RB? It is nothing but the component of the centrifugal force, P vertical downward component of the centrifugal force, that is P sin theta. Okay, so we will put that value RA as the W cos theta. By the figure you will get that, and RB as the P sin theta. Now if we take divide the W cos theta to both the direction. Sorry, both the sides. If we divide by the W cos theta in both the sides, it will not change its dimensions. Okay. If we will divide the W cos theta in both direction, it will not change any value. Now I will divide the P cos theta by W cos theta. P sin theta, W sin theta, sorry, divided by W cos theta. F into W cos theta divided by W cos theta, and F into P into sin theta divided by W cos theta. Okay. In the left side as well as in the right side, I have divided the whole equation by W cos theta for my simplification only. It will not change any value because I have divided for both the sides. So here cos theta will get cancelled. So it will become only P by W. Okay. For the simplification, I have taken this. Then W get cancelled here. And sin theta divided by cos theta, it will be equal to tan theta. Okay. Here W will get cancelled as well as cos theta will get cancelled. So here only becomes left the F. Now see here, sin theta divided by cos theta will be equal to tan theta. Okay, so F into P by W into tan theta. Okay, so our equation will become as P by W is equal to tan theta plus F plus F into P by W into tan theta. Okay, so what I will do now, I will take P by W common from these two equations. I will take this term in the left side. Okay, I will take this term in the left side. So what will become P by W minus F into P by W into tan theta. So I will take P by W as a common factor. So it will become 1 minus F into tan theta is equal to remaining term, that is tan theta plus F. Okay, so P by W is equal to tan theta plus F divided by 1 minus F tan theta. That will be our final equation. Okay, this will be our final equation. But here also the number of terms are there, theta, F, P, W, but we are not getting here superviation E directly. Okay, so for that, what we will do, we will go for simplification of this equation. Okay, we have got the final equation as P by W is equal to tan theta plus F whole divided by 1 minus F tan theta. Okay, this will be our final equation. But what I will do now, as I know P by W is equal to V square upon GR. So I equate this equation as V square upon GR is equal to tan theta plus F divided by 1 minus F tan theta. Okay, what we have got in the previous equation? P by W is equal to tan theta plus F divided by 1 minus F tan theta. Now I will equate P by W is equal to V square upon GR. So V square upon GR is equal to tan theta plus F divided by 1 minus F tan theta. And normally what we will take, this is very important, what we will take normally, F, that is lateral skidding. I have told in the first lecture only, with the starting of our first chapter, the longitudinal coefficient of friction is equal to 0.35 to 0.4, and the lateral coefficient of friction is equal to 0.15. Okay, so normally we will take F as a 0.15 and theta should be less than 4 degree. Okay, this is very important term. F is equal to 0.15 and theta should be less than 4 degree. When we provide the theta less than 1 degree, then the term 1 minus F tan theta will be nearly equal to 1. Okay, when we provide theta less than 4 degree, our term 1 minus F tan theta will become nearly equal to 1. So, and tan theta will P nearly equal to E upon B, that is super elevation. Okay, and tan theta becomes equal to E, that is super elevation. And when we place the E instead of 1 tan theta and 1 instead of 1 minus F tan theta, then our equation will become as finally E plus F is equal to V square of 1 GR. Okay. Our final equation become as E plus F is equal to V square of 1 GR, where E is the super elevation, F is the lateral friction, that is 0.15, V is the velocity in meter per second, G is the acceleration, and R is the radius of curve. Okay. So this is our final equation of the super. By using this equation, we will find the super elevation E. Okay, so this is the final equation for finding out the super elevation. So this is very important equation. Okay, so I will also explain once more, and by that time write down this equation. Everyone please must write this equation. If you have drawn this figure, after that figure, write down from here P cos theta is equal to, write down this equation. All of you please copy that equation. At equilibrium, by resolving the forces parallel to the surface of the pyramid, we get all of you copy the equation. Please copy that equation. This is a very important equation. Number of times for theory exam, this equation is asked. Let me know when you have done. झाल्यावर ते सांगा. Completed. Okay. Let the author finish. I will wait for 1 more minute. Everyone must finish this. Everyone must write this. It's very important. Okay. Write down next. Write down next. These two are very important terms. Make it bold or underline these terms. F is equal to 0.15 and theta should be less than 0 degree. Make an underline to these two terms so that it will be easily captured whenever you are going for study for revision also. Such highlighting points will give you the fast increase your speed of the revision. So always whenever you are going for the study, make a habit that you should underline the important words. Okay, by different color of pen. Okay, whenever you are going for revision, that time, if you only go through such points or such terms which are underlined, the revision will get fast. Whenever I will tell these terms are important or this formula is important, you should make the habit that such that you should highlight such points. Okay, you should make the habit such you should highlight that points so that whenever you are going for the study that points or whenever you are going through that notes, you'll get understand easily what the topic is important in that. Okay, which point is important in that, so that your study will get in the proper way. Do it fast. Let me know when you complete it. झाल्यावरती सांगा मला. This is also important. F, what is F? F is the coefficient of lateral friction. Okay, because we are familiar, F is a friction, linear or the longitudinal friction. But here, whenever we are designing the curves, F is the coefficient of lateral friction. That also we have to keep in our mind. It's a very important formula. E plus F is equal to V square of 1 GR. Many times, else number of times this formula is asked for various exams. So please understand it clearly. If there will be the competitive exam, or if there will be the MCQ online exam, then this formula will ask directly for MCQ. If your exam will be offline, then this equation, they will ask to derive this equation, because derivation of this equation is also asked number of times. Offline exam.
जे प्रॉब्लेम्स आहे त्याला ते आपलं वय पुस्तक देऊन नाही मला थोडा प्रॅक्टिकल आहे थोडा देऊ
Do it fast. Completed. Okay. So I hope you all have completed. We will move forward. So keep in mind, this is very important formula for calculating the super elevation when the frictional factor F is velocity V, radius of gyration, radius of the curve R, and acceleration G, gravitational acceleration G. These terms are given, then we can easily find E, that is super elevation. Okay, so this is very important formula. E plus F is equal to V square of 1 GR. Okay, but in some cases there is condition such that F, that is the friction, is equal to 0. In some cases F will be equal to 0, and as well as in some cases there might be the chances of E is equal to 0. Means what? Suppose if we have not provided super elevation E, in such a case, we have to go for designing the velocity such that there should not be any overturning on the frictional skidding of the wave. Okay. What I want to tell, if suppose there we have not provided the super elevation E, that is, suppose E is equal to 0. Okay. In that case, we have to maintain the velocity such that there will be not any overturning or skidding of the vehicle. Okay. In that region, we have to maintain or we have to design the speed of the vehicle. How? I will tell in the next slide. So see here, there are specific cases that can arise from the equation 2, that is E plus F is equal to V square of 1 GR. By this equation, there are specific cases that might be arised. So in that first one is the, if there is no friction due to some practical reasons, then F is equal to 0 and the equation will become as E is equal to V square upon GR. Okay, if there is a F, that is the lateral friction, is equal to 0, means what? If there is no friction, then at that time the super elevation E is equal to V square upon GR. This result in the situation where the pressure on the outer and inner wheel are same, require very high super elevation E. Okay, so when this result arises, so the result arises when, this is very important word, when where the pressure on the outer wheel and inner wheel are same. Okay, so this is the condition when there might be chances of arising this condition. Okay, in that condition, E is equal to V square of 1 GR. So this is the first case. What is second case? If there is no super elevation, okay, if there is no super elevation is provided due to some practical reasons, okay, due to some practical reasons, we cannot afford the super elevation in that area. In such areas, we will take as F E is equal to 0. Okay, E is equal to 0. So at that time, our formula will become as, if E will be 0, F is equal to V square of 1 GR, because our formula is what? E plus F is equal to V square of 1 GR. Now, suppose E is equal to 0 and F value, that is what we take, the maximum value as F is equal to 0.15. At that time, so see in this equation, this equation will, if I will take this GR that is in the denominator in the left side, then the equation will become as V square is equal to, how it will become, F into GR. Okay, this equation will become as V square is equal to F into GR. Okay, if I will take this GR from the denominator to the left side. Now I have to calculate the velocity. If I will remove this square, I will place here square. Okay, then my equation will become as V velocity is equal to under root of, that is square root of F into GR. Okay, my equation will become as V is equal to square root of F into GR. Okay, understood? I will repeat. So see here, if in this equation, when E is equal to 0, okay, in this equation when E, that is super elevation, is equal to 0, at that time what will be the value of EF? You know the value of EF is 0.15. Okay, we have not provided super elevation here. Means what? In the horizontal curve as well, we have provided the straight rod. Okay, in the curved region also, we have provided the straight rod. So what will happen now? There are the chances of overturning the vehicle, okay, or the skid of the vehicle. There will be the increase in the chances of overturning of the vehicle or the skidding of the vehicle. So minimize that case or minimize that chances of overturning and the skidding. What we have to design? We have to design the velocity. Okay, so we have to design the velocity for safe drive, and we have to put there the design velocity or the safe driving velocity as dash 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 meter per second. Okay, so how will design the velocity? So by this equation, I have calculated V square is equal to, if I will take this GR from the denominator to the left side, F into GR. Okay, and when I will remove this square, I will put the square root on right side. So V is equal to, it will become as this equation, V is equal to square root of F into GR. So by this we can calculate V, that is the restricted speed of the vehicle. This is very important. By this equation we can calculate the restricted speed of that vehicle. Okay, so write down these equations as well. These are the very important equations. When the frictional force factor is 0, when the super elevation will be 0, and how we, if the super elevation is 0, how we restrict our speed. Okay. Write down these equation as well. Everyone, write down these equations. completed. Okay. If we have completed, we will move forward. Okay, for design the super elevation for fast moving vehicle providing the higher super elevation without considering the coefficient of friction is safe. That is, the centrifugal force is fully contracted by the weight of the vehicle of the super elevation. Okay, whenever we are designing the super elevation for the fast moving vehicle, we have to consider the coefficient of friction is equal to 0. Okay, means what? The totally centrifugal force is contracted by the weight of the vehicle. Okay, as we have seen, the centrifugal force, what will happen whenever we are moving on the curved portion, the centrifugal force will act in the radially outward direction. Means what? It will tends the vehicle to overturn. Okay, what will happen? The centrifugal force tends the vehicle to get overturned. But if we provide the proper frictional resistance between the tire, as well as if you have maintained the elevation such that its component of weight of the vehicle will counteract the centrifugal force. Now, for the fast moving vehicle, it is suggested that we should go for the contracting the centrifugal force only by the weight of the vehicle. Means what? In this case, we'll consider the coefficient of friction will be 0. Okay, for the safety purpose. Then for the slow moving vehicle, providing the lower supervision, consider the coefficient of friction is safe. That is, the centrifugal force is contracted by the super elevation and the coefficient of friction. Okay, for the slow moving vehicle, it is contracted by the both super elevation as well as by the coefficient of friction. Okay, for slow moving vehicle, the centrifugal force is contracted by super elevation and the coefficient of friction, and in the fast moving vehicle, the centrifugal force is fully contracted by the weight of the vehicle or in the super elevation or by the super elevation. Okay, so fast moving vehicle we are considering the F as a 0, and for slow moving vehicle we are considering both F as well as E. Okay, IRC suggests the following procedure for designing the super elevation. Okay, for designing the super elevation, we have to follow the following steps. Okay, the first step is the step number 1. Find the E for the 75% of the design speed, neglecting F. Okay, for the IRC suggested the step first, whenever we are calculating the super elevation, step 1, consider the speed as the 75% of the design speed. Okay, we have always, whenever we are designing the road, we always design the safe design speed for that road. Whenever whatever the design speed that we have designed, whenever we are calculating the super elevation E, we have to take only 75% of that design speed. Okay, this is very important. This is also asked for MCQ. How much speed that we consider for designing of the super elevation, that is 0.75 V. Okay, 75%, and it is in bracket, and for a bracket there is a square. Okay, because we know E is equal to V square upon GR. Here we are taking F as 0, neglecting F. As we know, the general formula is E plus F is equal to V square upon GR. We are taking F as a 0, and we are taking the velocity is the 75% of the design speed. Okay, by that formula, we will calculate the E is equal to 0.75 bracket square divided by GR. Okay, when we calculate the E by neglecting the F and by taking the 75% of design speed. If that E, that is the super elevation, is less than 0.07. I repeat, this is a very important term. If we are calculating the super elevation by putting F as a 0 and by putting the design speed as a 75%, whatever the super elevation that we get, if that super elevation E is less than 0.07, then that is taken as a final super elevation. Okay, that is taken as final super elevation. But if that E goes beyond 0.07, means what? By calculating by this formula, if that E will be greater than 0.07, then we have to go for next step. Okay, then we have to go for next step. If E will be less than 0.07, we will stop here only. Whatever the E will get from this formula, it will be taken as that only. But if it goes beyond 0.07, we have to go for next step. Okay, so what is the step number 3? Find F1 for design speed and the maximum E. Okay, now if the second step will get vanishes, we have to go for next step number 3. And for that, we are considering the frictional factor F. Okay, and we have to calculate the frictional factor F as by considering the maximum E. And what is maximum E? 0.07. Okay, what is the maximum E? That is equal to 0.07. That is the maximum E that we are providing on the road. So this is also very important. Maximum super elevation provided on the curve. E max. How much it will be there? Maximum super elevation is equal to 0.07. Keep in mind, the maximum super elevation provided on the road is equal to 0.07. Okay, that is this value. Okay. But if we get F1, that is by calculating by this formula, if we get this frictional factor less than 0.05, as we know the lateral coefficient of friction is 0.15. If that will be less than 0.15, then it is okay. But if it will go beyond the 0.15, then we have to go for designing the velocity. Understanding? If F1 is less than 0.15, then maximum E is taken as 0.07 and it is safe for design speed. But if the F will go beyond the 0.15 by calculating this formula, if suppose we are taking E as 0.07 and F will goes beyond 0.15, then we have to go for designing the velocity. And that velocity is designed by keeping E is equal to 0.07 and F is equal to 0.15. Keep this value in this formula and calculate the value of V. That value is taken as design speed or the allowable speed. Okay, that value will be taken as allowable speed, and that should be VA allowable should be greater than V. Okay. Understanding? I will repeat also. लक्ष द्या, repeat करतो आणखीन एकदा मी. How the IRC suggested to go for the designing procedure for super elevation. IRC suggested that whenever you are designing the super elevation, for the first step, you have to assume that there will not be any lateral friction. That is what F will be equal to 0. In that case, we have to find the super elevation by formula. E is equal to V square upon GR, that is first formula, by keeping F, that is lateral friction, as 0 and velocity V as the 0.07. 75% of the design speed. Okay, by this formula, if we get the E less than 0.07, then we have to stop here only. By this formula, if we get E less than 0.07, then we have to stop here only. But if this value goes beyond 0.07, then we have to move forward for step number 3. Okay. Now, in the step 3, what we will do, we will assume that E as the maximum super elevation is equal to 0.07. Okay. We will assume that E is the maximum super elevation, that is 0.07. By putting this value, we will find out the frictional factor F, that is the lateral coefficient of friction. Okay. By this formula, whatever the frictional factor or the lateral coefficient of friction that we get, if that is less than 0.15, if it is less than 0.15, then it is also okay. Then we'll take as that F and E as the 0.07. We'll stop here only. Okay. If by the third step, our F, that is lateral friction coefficient, will be less than 0.15, take that as the coefficient of friction, and E as a 0.07. Then now we will stop here only. But if F exceeds 0.15, okay, but by calculating this formula, if the F exceeds 0.15, at that time we have to design the velocity. Okay, at that time we have to design the velocity by keeping the value of F as a 0.15 and value of E as a 0.07. By keeping the E is equal to 0.07 and F is equal to 0.15, whatever the velocity we get, that velocity is considered as allowable speed of the vehicle on that curved road. Okay, that we have to remember. First, we have to calculate E by keeping F as a 0. If we get E less than 0.07, it is okay. But if it greater than 0.07, we have to go for step number 2. In step 2, we will assume E as a 0.07, that is maximum super elevation, and we will find out the value of F. If that F will be less than 0.15, then also it is okay. But if that F will goes beyond 0.15, then we have to calculate third part, that is allowable velocity, by keeping F as a 0.15 and E as a 0.07. Then we have to find out the velocity. Whatever the velocity it comes, that will be taken as allowable velocity. Means what? Beyond that velocity, we cannot go drive the vehicle. Beyond that velocity, we cannot go for. Okay. So write down these steps. Design steps for super elevation. Write down these design steps. These are the design steps whenever we are designing the super elevation on the road. These are very important steps. Write down everyone. And while writing, underline these words. I will also underline. %75% and neglecting F means F is 0. Underline these words which I have underlined. Make it bold else. And whenever you are underlining, underline with a different color of pen, so that you will get easily understand whenever you are studying that part. Okay, write down the steps. Write down the design steps for designing the super elevation. Okay, I hope all have completed this. If anyone remain to complete, make a screenshot and write it down afterwards if you have not done it. I will move forward for the next step. The next slide. Radius of the horizontal curve. Okay, radius of the horizontal curve. The maximum comfortable speed on the horizontal curve depends on the radius of the curve. Okay, what will be the maximum comfortable speed so that we cannot go for overturning the vehicle? That maximum comfortable speed is totally depend on the or slightly depends on the radius of the curve. Although it is possible to design the curve with the maximum super elevation and the coefficient of friction, it is not desirable because realignment would be required if the design speed is increased in the future. Okay. We can provide the whatever the comfort of the vehicle that we require. We can provide that comfort by the providing the super elevation, maximum super elevation, as well as providing the maximum coefficient of friction, lateral friction. But if we go for the redesign or realignment of that road in the future for the change or increase in the design speed in the future, at that time it is not desirable. So therefore, a ruling minimum radius can be derived by assuming the maximum super elevation and coefficient of friction. So for that, we have to design the ruling radius. Now, what is meant by ruling radius? Whenever we are designing the radius by assuming the maximum super elevation and coefficient of friction, at that time that radius is known as ruling radius. Ideally, the radius of the curve should be higher than the ruling radius. However, very large curves are also not desirable. Setting out the large curves in the field becomes difficult. In addition, it also enhances the driving strength. Okay, whenever we are designing the horizontal curve, it is desirable to provide the radius higher than the ruling radius. Okay. What is meant by ruling radius? The ruling radius is nothing but the radius which is provided when there is assumed that the maximum super elevation and coefficient of friction. Write down the formula for ruling radius. Formula for ruling radius. R ruling is equal to ruling is equal to V square upon G into bracket E plus F. Okay. By that formula only we have derived E plus F is equal to V square upon GR. If you take R in the left side and E plus F in the right side, the formula will become as R is equal to V square upon GR into bracket E plus F. Okay. Just we have reshuffled the formula. There is no different formula. It is just reshuffled. So need not to remember this formula. Only remember the trick. Okay. Just remember one formula. E plus F is equal to V square upon GR. By that we have derived all the formulas. Instead of remembering all the formulas, just remember that how we have derived that formula. Okay, so that will be easily accessible. Okay, easily understood. And just the condition is here, we have to maintain the maximum super elevation and the coefficient of friction. Okay, that will be the only condition for ruling radius. The formula is same. When we call it as a ruling radius, when the super elevation and the coefficient of friction are maximum. Okay. Okay. So remember, instead of remembering the formula, remember the procedure. Okay. The only formula is there what? E plus F is equal to V square of 1GR. Only remember this formula. By that formula, we have designed by taking F as a 0, E is equal to V square of 1GR. By placing F is equal to 0, E as a 0, F is equal to V square of 1GR. By that, we have calculated V as a V is equal to under root of F into GR. Okay, these are after that. Only the remember the main formula. After that, we are designed the R is equal to V square of 1 G into bracket E plus F. These are the all formulas. These are derived from the main formula as E plus F is equal to V square of 1GR. Only remember that formula. Okay, don't remember other formulas. Just remind the procedure. ज्यादा दिमाग में रखने का वरना हैंग होता है. Don't increase your RAM. If the RAM of the mobile will get increased, mobile will become hang. The same is here also. Don't increase your memory. Just remember the procedure. By putting remembering, your memory will get hang. Okay. So procedure is more important than remembering the formulas. You will get the formula easily by remembering the procedure. Okay. So the next point is the extra widening. This will be easily understood by the video. I will show one video for that. You will get the picture or clear idea for. By the video, you will get the picture, the idea about the extra widening. After that, I will explain what is extra widening, what is the purpose of providing the extra widening, where it is provided. Okay. Let's see one. We will see one video for that. Extra widening. Animated.
हेलो फ्रेंड्स, आज मैं ज्योमेट्री डिज़ाइन ऑफ हाईवे का बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक एक्स्ट्रा वाइडनिंग के बारे में बताने जा रहा हूँ. तो फ्रेंड्स चलिए स्टार्ट करते हैं. एक्स्ट्रा वाइडनिंग क्या है? एक्स्ट्रा वाइडनिंग रेफर्स टू द ओरिजिनल width of carriageway that is required on a curved section of a road.
हेलो फ्रेंड्स, वेलकम टू ऑनलाइन इंजीनियरिंग. इस वीडियो में हम लोग हॉरिजॉन्टल कर्व के ही जो कंपोनेंट्स है उनमें एक और नया कंपोनेंट दैट इज एक्स्ट्रा वाइडनिंग के बारे में सीखने वाले हैं. सवाल यह आता है कि सर एक्स्ट्रा वाइडनिंग का मतलब तो होता है इसके नाम से. एक्स्ट्रा मतलब कुछ ज़्यादा, वाइडनिंग मतलब कि मैं विड्थ इंक्रीज कर रहा हूँ. लेकिन ये इंक्रीज करने की ज़रूरत क्यों पड़ती है? मैंने यहाँ पर खैर डायग्राम तो ऑलरेडी पहले से ही आप लोगों के लिए बना के रखा है, लेकिन फिर भी समझते हैं कि देखिए, अगर कोई लॉन्ग व्हीकल हो, लंबा व्हीकल हो, तो उसको टर्न करने के लिए स्पेस ज़्यादा चाहिए. अगले वाले जो एक्सेल पे व्हील्स होते हैं वो बड़े रेडियस पे काम करते हैं, जबकि जो पिछला एक्सेल होता है वो कम रेडियस पे काम करता है. जैसे कि अगर देखें यहाँ पर इस डायग्राम में, ये आउटर व्हील है, आप
Straw widening.
Welcome to Civil Engineering Shiloh's Updates. Dear all, in this video we are going to learn design of super elevation. First, let us see what is meant by super elevation. E plus F is equal to V square upon 127R. Why we have used this function as 0.1 of a formula plus F is equal.
Okay, let us see one video.
Welcome to Civil Engineering Shiloh's Updates. Dear all, in this video we are going to learn design of super elevation. First, let us see what is meant by super elevation. In simple words, super elevation is the difference in elevation of outer and inner edge of road or railway track. Standard definition of super elevation. Super elevation is the transverse slope provided to counteract the effect of centrifugal force and reduce the tendency of vehicle to overturn and to skid laterally outwards by raising the pavement of outer edge with respect to inner edge. It is represented by the letter E. Analysis of super elevation. We know that tan theta is equal to opposite side upon adjacent side. Therefore, tan theta is equal to E by B, where E is the super elevation, B is the breadth of road. Advantages of providing super elevation. Super elevation is provided to achieve higher speed of vehicles. It increases the stability of fast moving vehicles when they pass through a horizontal curve. It decreases the stress on the foundation. In the absence of super elevation on the road, along curves, potholes are likely to occur at the outer edge of the road. The Indian Road Congress IRC has prescribed the maximum value of super elevation.
Okay, so these are advantages. Please make a screenshot of this. These are the advantages of providing the super elevation. It is mostly provided to achieve the higher speed of the vehicle. Okay, if we don't provide the super elevation on the curve, and if we go with the higher speed, our vehicle will get overturns. Okay, and it will go out of the roads. So to achieve the higher speed on the road, we will provide the super elevation so that our vehicle can easily achieve the higher speeds. Make a screenshot of this.
Is 1 in 15.
Here the higher, as per the IRC, the maximum value of super elevation is given as 1 in 15, and 1 in 15 is nothing but if we take 1 divided by 15, it will become as 0.066667, means nearly equal to 0.07. Okay, now only we have written there the maximum super elevation that should be provided on the road is 0.07. If they are they will ask in the ratio, then the maximum super elevation is provided in 1 in 15. Okay, we can write this. Now we have written that the maximum super elevation provided as 0.07. There only write down 1 in 15. If they will ask in the ratio 1 in 15, if they will ask in the points, then it will be equal to 0.07. Okay, 1 in 15.
Common formula to calculate superelevation. There are totally two formulas. The first formula is E plus F is equal to V square upon 127 R. The second formula is E plus F is equal to V square upon GR. The first formula E plus F is equal to V square upon 127 R is used when velocity is in kmph, that is kilometer per hour. The second formula E plus F is equal to V square upon GR is used when velocity is in meter per second.
Okay, write down this formula as well. Write down this formula as well. When the velocity is given in meter per second, we will use the formula as E plus F is equal to V square upon GR. And when the velocity is in kmph, we will use the formula as E plus F is equal to V square upon 127 R. This formula is asked for MPSC. E plus F is equal to V square upon 127 R. If the velocity is given in kmph, because we know the formula V square upon GR, that is in meter per second, but we don't know the formula for kmph. So they will ask the formula when the velocity is in kilometer per hour. Write down this formula as well. When the velocity is in kilometer per hour, E plus F is equal to V square upon 127 R. It's a very important formula.
Used when velocity is in meter per second.
Write down this formula.
For example, consider the radius of a horizontal curve as 100 meter. The design speed is 50 km per hour. The design coefficient of lateral friction is 0.15. Calculate.
Write down or take the screenshot of this problem. Solve it as a homework. Else I will tell how to solve in the next lecture. Everyone, please try it at home. Take the screenshot of this, try it at home. Else I will tell in the next lecture how to calculate. Okay. Take a screenshot of this. Try to solve at home. Put your attendance now in chat box. Then you can leave the lecture. We will stop here only. Time is running out. We will stop here only. You will see the answer for this formula in the next lecture. Thank you for attending the lecture. Try to solve at home. Else I will tell how to solve in the next lecture.